So this module will conclude the OWASP Top 10 Security Vulnerabilities. Today we'll go through numbers 9 and 10. And number 9 is called Using Components with Known Vulnerabilities. The point here is that systems these days are not really one system developed by one development organization. They often use libraries, frameworks, and other applications, other components that are purchased in order to develop an application. And if any of these applications, frameworks, libraries has a vulnerability and that's reported in the public domain, then the attacker gets this information and can use that information against you. So what are the threat agents? The threat agents, for one thing, automated tools can go out and search for which versions of libraries and whatnot that you're using. So they can automate that process. And then once they find out that information of what things you're using and what version you're using, go out to a public database and look for what vulnerabilities are out there and use them. That's why a software security strategy called penetrate and patch is a bad idea. So penetrate and patch says, let's put out the software and then we'll wait until someone reports a security vulnerability and then we'll fix it. The reason that that's a bad idea is that very often actual users of systems do not install security patches and they don't upgrade their version. So say there's a version 2.5 that's secure, many users will stay on 2.4 for a very long time. Some known vulnerabilities like Heartbleed, which was a number of years ago, a year later they found out that half of the users were still vulnerable. And so this type of thing where it's now in the public domain, it's very publicized, and attackers know that often users don't upgrade their systems. You're just leaving yourself open to attack. So here's an example. Just say, you are using Apache 2.4, and then there's a vulnerability reported, and so now that's in the public domain, and if you're using that functionality, now you're vulnerable unless you update it. Very important to keep updated. Here was a study that was done that said 50% of the global 500 companies use vulnerable open source components. And this is, perfect case. So, if you're an attacker, this is a weak link. It's easy to go and find out what versions people are using and to use it against you. So prevention, it's really important for your system administrators, for your IT staff, to keep up with what are vulnerabilities for the components of our system and to upgrade accordingly and to use tools in order to detect that yourself and make sure you keep yourself updated. Number 10, the last and final, is unvalidated redirects and forwards. What this is, these redirects and forwards, they leave users open to attacks like phishing attacks and malware sites. And so any application that has a website or HTML feed can trick the users into submitting a request to another site. So here's an example. Just say that in this URL, you have, where you're redirecting to a different URL. To this insecureplanning.com, and what the attacker can do, knowing that this redirect is available to them, they can just change the redirect to something else like a malware site. It's trivial. It's a trivial exercise to do, and then you leave yourself open for attack. So prevention is within the URL, within the HTML, within something that's easily accessible to an attacker, just don't do these redirects and forwards. You do them some way that's, on the server side that can't be manipulated by the attacker. And don't use parameters to calculate the destination. I just want to conclude by saying that we went through the OWASP Top 10, and these are really important, prevalent vulnerabilities that are reported again and again, even though they've been on a Top 10 list. The list we went through was from 2013. And so they've been out there, people have known about them, but yet they're still reported. So they are very important. But just to let you know that OWASP is actually now, at this moment, going through an update, and they're developing a new top 10 list. in 2017. And if you want to contribute to that or see the effort, there's a URL there provided for you so that you can keep up to date and you can keep your own web applications and other systems secure.